I am going to be ranking every single Spider-Man boss fight from the Insomniac series, which includes Insomniac's Spider-Man PS4, Spider-Man Miles Morales, and Marvel's Spider-Man 2. I'm going to number rank them, starting from the worst boss fight at 27 and going all the way up to number 1. There's 27 boss fights to me in this video. There might be some I didn't consider that you do, like chase sequences. I don't count those. But let me know if that upsets you so I can tell you that I don't care. I rank the boss fights on not just the fight itself, but also things like music, the build-up, story revolving around it, as well as other factors I may mention because to me, those things enhance boss fights and make things more memorable. Anyways, let's rank all the Insomniac Spider-Man boss fights from worst to best. Be sure to subscribe. I'm trying to reach 150k before the end of the year, and also be sure to subscribe to my second YouTube channel I started recently where I post things like funny stream moments and things of that nature. Make sure to check it out. I appreciate it, but let's move on. Starting at number 27, the Mr. Negative Subway boss fight. Now, here's the thing. Even though this is at the bottom, it's still good. All these boss fights are fun for the most part. I actually do enjoy every single boss fight, so keep that in mind when watching the video, but that being said, the Mr. Negative Subway boss fight is at the bottom simply because the fight itself is very limiting. You're inside this train, you don't really move Spider-Man in a big arena, you dodge his shockwave attacks, and then you web zip to him to take him down. It's more of a reaction and timing based fight if anything. It's still fun and I do like the ending, especially with the Spider-Man 2 Tobey Maguire reference.
That totally worked last time.
It is a unique fight in the sense that it's the only one kind of like this. Like it's a linear timed based fight, but it's not better than full on arena boss fights. Also, you fight Mr. Negative a ton in these games, the most out of any boss. That doesn't make it any less fun per se, but maybe more repetitive, which adds to this being at the bottom. Number 26, Mr. Negative boss fight where you save Michael Morbius. Long name, but that's how I'm differentiating this fight. There's quite a bit of Mr. Negative boss fights like I said, and this is I think the first time you fight him and it's the easiest one and one of the lesser interesting fights. What's really cool here is the story though, how he torments Peter and how people die during the explosion of the ceremony in the game, and Peter tells him that he can't save everybody, which is an interesting plotline of Spider-Man I always love. The sadness he feels that with all his strength, people will still die hits me. While that's really cool, I get kind of annoyed replaying through Mr. Negative sequences in returning playthroughs as it can slow down the pace of the game for me, which I factor in here. But speaking for the boss fight itself, you fight regular guys and then throw stuff to break his mask. It's really not much different from standard combat fights, which doesn't have much flair. It's still fun since the gameplay of these games are great, but yeah, a lower end of the boss fights lineup, number 26 for me. Number 25, Sandman. Now look, people might be surprised by this placement, but let me explain. I think even though it's lower, the boss fight is a great start to the game, showcasing the power of the PS5 and having these cool set pieces with Sandman is really cool. However, the boss fight itself to me takes very long, it overstays its welcome, and it's hindered with the tutorials throughout the fight. The boss fight has you swinging around throwing stuff at Sandman, which is cool, then going through buildings fighting against sand guys, and it showcases new mechanics like the web wings and special takedowns. I think what hinders this for me though is that I feel the boss fight, like I said, overstays its welcome, takes a while to beat him, and Sandman is such an interesting villain that using him for an introductory boss fight where you learn how to play the game kind of wastes a better opportunity to have him for a boss fight, which I feel like that when I replay through the game. Comparing this to someone like Kingpin in the first game, Kingpin felt better paced for an introduction because Kingpin isn't some visually flaring supervillain. Sandman is, and the boss fight itself against him is cool, but nothing as fun as the other ones. Despite it all, I still believe it's a great start to the game. It's still fun, just wish Sandman was used better. Number 24, Mysterio. Now, before I get into why this boss fight is lower, let me say I do enjoy the fight. It is fun, visually it's unique. I wouldn't say it's breathtaking, but it is unique. And the game's combat is really fun, so this boss fight will always have that enjoyment factor. However, I think what makes this fight lower for me is that Mysterio here is not as menacing as I would have hoped. The story plays out that he's not really the villain and instead is being used by his coworkers, which I get. I mean, the game is trying to convey how Spidey's villains are becoming better people, but for a villain like Mysterio, which we have not seen in the series before, it lacks weight. Also, the fight itself isn't as fun. The punches on Mysterio to me aren't as satisfying, and just flying around web zipping to hit him, not as enjoyable as some of the other boss fights. And I don't really look forward to the side mission because some of the trail to get there can be really annoying. Like the beginning of the Mysterio introduction, you have to do this dance game and it overstays its welcome. There's a lot of things like that to get to this boss fight and it hinders my enjoyment. Still fun for what it is, but yes, those things make it sit at number 24 for me. Number 23, Kingpin. Kingpin was a great introduction to the entire series. The build-up getting to him with this amazing intro with the music, the great tutorial area on how to play the game, and giving us a popular but great introductory villain to start was awesome. While it's all great, the boss fight itself was also fun, but pretty easy. For good reason, like I said, it is the beginning of the game, but I believe that since the boss fight is easy, it's a little less memorable to me. And this is just me, but I think Kingpin's iteration here is not as intimidating as other Kingpins. I can't imagine this one doing all the gruesome stuff he was doing, like the MCU version or a threatening one from the comics. For me, it kind of lowers the impact Kingpin has in this world. The boss fight itself is fun though. Just fight him and his goons, punch him when you can, take down when you can, and beat him. It's still a fun boss fight through and through, but there are better ones. Number 22, the Prowler. Now, Prowler's boss fight I feel is lower than it should be because the boss fight itself is pretty fun and unique. I think the problem I have here with Prowler is that the build up and setting just aren't as strong to me, and I think the other boss fights have that. But still, the boss fight is fun. It's unique, like I said. Prowler throws things into the mix like going invisible or throwing clones at you, using your own abilities against you. It's really fun, and I think that dynamic between Miles and Prowler here is pretty good. I like how Miles sticks up for himself, saying people look up to him while his uncle is trying to bring him down. It's really fun, but I feel like the fight should have had a bigger impact somehow. I don't know where, but Prowler is an important character to Miles, so I wish it did have more impact, but it's still fun for what it is. Number 21, Rhino from Miles Morales. The introductory boss fight to the game. I actually like this one the most out of all the beginning boss fights of the games. It's very dynamic and very unique, especially on a first playthrough. If you count the beginning where you run through New York with Rhino, it's really fun, but the actual boss fight itself is fun to me because of Miles' powers with his electric punch. It was a fun way to teach you that, hey, you have this new badass move that Peter doesn't, and you used it against Rhino. The fight itself isn't too easy, it can challenge you on first mission standards, and is very dynamic like I said, and my favorite part for some reason is I find it really satisfying to hit Rhino. The sound effect that it clings when he punches head, I don't know, for me it's satisfying and it brings the fight up for me.
Hey, in the future, this is the time, man. No more breakouts.
It also shows that Miles has the potential like Peter does, which is great, and it's a great way of showcasing that with him taking down someone like Rhino. And it's just a great boss fight all around, amazing intro to the game. Number 20. Tombstone. Now, Tombstone is pretty fun, and I put him higher than the other boss fights because something that I really value here, and I don't know if this is different for anybody else, but the Tombstone mission really feels like an episode of the Insomniac Spider-Man adventures, where Spidey just goes off course to stop one of his villains and calls it a day. I really love that feeling when it comes to superhero stuff. It increases the feeling of the boss fight for me. As for the boss fight itself, I enjoy it a lot too. It's pretty fun to just swing around and throw things at Tombstone and do takedowns. Something I really appreciate about boss fights with Insomniac is you have so much freedom and movement to do whatever you want. Compare that to the Arkham games where boss fights are a little bit more linear, expect you to do certain moves to beat them. A boss fight here like Tombstone, you can swing all over, use most of if not all your gadgets, do your takedowns, regular punches. It's really fun and very creative in what you can do, and it's fast paced. Tombstone here does that, and I enjoy that coupled with a feeling of this being an episode of the Insomniac Spider-Man Adventures TV show kind of thing, right? A villain of the week feeling. For me, that elevates the boss fight to a 20. Number 19, the final Tinker boss fight in Spider-Man Miles Morales. As far as final bosses go, this one was the weakest of the 3 games, but still really fun through and through because the gameplay of these games are just so addicting, man. That being said, this fight is still amazing. I love how visual it is and how much more amped up it gets as it progresses in the boss fight with each phase and passing cutscene. The fight puts everything you learn to the test, and because of that, it's very enjoyable. You have to dodge shockwave attacks, and then her dodging your attacks, and then her blocking, and yada yada yada. There's a lot of things you have to look out for in this fight that make it exciting for me. I just think that personally, this fight to me loses weight because the story was kind of done in Spider-Man PS4 with the positive figure in the hero's life turning evil in a way. So it kind of loses a bit there for me, as well as Tinker just not being as an interesting villain to me as the others. But the boss fight itself is fun. Gameplay-wise, it's a great finale. And the music in Miles Morales in particular is so good. It's my favorite of the 3, so that elevates it higher. The best of the series, in my opinion, which, makes it number 19. Number 18, Silver Sable. Silver Sable's boss fight in the PS4 DLC was pretty fun, actually. One of the most memorable things that stuck out to me in this fight is that it was fairly difficult compared to the other boss fights. She can throw you around or kick you unexpectedly, which could catch you off guard on a first playthrough. I also really loved Silver Sable as a character, especially her Insomniac version. I think they got her down really well, going from this complete douchebag to Spider-Man, but also showing glimpses of humor, and she kind of has an almost awkward personality.
What happened to you? I thought you were a good guy.
I am good at what I do. But I am not a guy.
The fight is good for a DLC due to that level of difficulty, and I don't know, you'd think this one would be lower considering it's not too visually aesthetic and it's done fairly quickly, but I like it a lot due to the difficulty and liking the character of Silver Sable. Number 17, Scream. Now, Scream was really cool. I love symbiotes and their designs, and I think Scream's design here is amazing as well as her voice. In regards to the boss fight itself, it's really fun with multiple arenas, and the fight itself can be a bit challenging. The problem I have with it is that it seems kind of out of nowhere. Like Venom just injects MJ with the symbiote and turns her into Scream. This really strong symbiote, just kind of seems like it comes out of nowhere, and then we get no other symbiotes in the story. so that's a thing. But it is cool hearing the inner thoughts of Mary Jane and Peter talking while their fight is going on. It really is like an extreme way of doing couples therapy symbiote edition. And it's also really funny how Scream chucks Peter and he hits his back like this. Overall, a great boss fight. I like the movement, multiple arenas, stakes between MJ and Peter, and the mechanics of the boss fight. I just wish Scream had a better incorporation. Number 16, Taskmaster. Taskmaster I thought was really cool. One of the reasons he's higher up is because Taskmaster really opens up the Insomniac verse to a wider world outside of Spider-Man's. That elevates and makes him a boss fight more memorable to me. On top of that, it's really cool how he randomly just hits you while you're swinging through the city, making you fight anywhere in New York, basically. In regard to the boss fight itself, it's very fun. You do have to dodge different attacks, and he does adapt to your techniques like Taskmaster would. And what I really find interesting is the story here. An organization hired him to take a look at Spider-Man, and we never find out what that organization is. That storyline makes this boss fight way more intriguing to me. I like how we fight him multiple times too, and I really appreciate that they did not make Taskmaster some pushover. And there is some difficulty here as well, since he does, like I said, learn as he should to block your attacks. Overall, a great boss fight. Number 15, Mr. Negative in Marvel's Spider-Man 2. I actually really enjoyed this boss fight. I like the multiple phases and the different combat options presented to you in the fight. Playing this fight with Miles here gives it a more unique experience, and his storyline is nice since he did kill Miles' dad. For the fight itself, it's really fun. I like Mr. Negative's attacks, how he can almost super speed to you, how he tries to swipe you with the sword, how he bubbles himself and you got an electric launch to him. In the next half of the fight being in your mind, I think it was all really well done, well presented, and since the gameplay is more enjoyable in this game, it makes me really appreciate the fight. They did a good job with Mr. Negative in this game. Number 14, Hammerhead. Hammerhead is really cool, dude. This is the first fight you have with him in the DLCs in Spider-Man PS4. I really love the classic mob boss theme Hammerhead has, and his fight here, similar to what I said in the Rhino boss fight, he's really satisfying to punch. Something about metallic armor or what have you, just works for me. I also think that Hammerhead's storyline is really well done. It goes into darker territory with Spidey, like how Hammerhead killed all those cops, and then Yuri shoots him dead, quote unquote, after, or tries to anyway. It gives this fight more of an impact, and the fight itself is really fun. It's like a better Kingpin boss fight. He has his thugs, don't hit his armored head, and dodges laser attacks and outlandish movements, and you win. It's really fun. I like the pacing and stakes here, and the mob theme is sick. It's a great fight. It elevates it for me. Number 13, Roxxon Rhino. Again, a big reason I love this fight is that it's satisfying to hit giant metallic bosses like Rhino is. But I also love the arena here. There's people you gotta fight, the Tinker is there to help you, and you have to dodge and grab onto Rhino and steer him in a tank to do damage. Overall, it's a very unique challenge and presentation here. The different attacks he then throws at you, like throwing concrete or the shockwaves on the ground, all create a more visually pleasing boss fight. I really like the way this boss fight feels, but I also really like how Tinker is there telling Miles to kill him rather than knock him out. That storyline elevates this fight for me. I really like those kind of storylines, personally. With all those things, this actually sits at number 13 for me. I liked it a lot. Number 12, Wraith. Wraith's boss fight is sick. I love the Wraith storyline a lot in that she's trying to kill Cletus Cassidy, who we all know is Carnage, and it leads to a fight between her and Spider-Man. The fight itself is really awesome. We get some amazing visuals, but I think the idea of her using a chain and the fight being fairly difficult is exciting. Spider-Man 2 has amazing gameplay, which helps here, as well as especially when using the symbiote suit. Her chain attacks are just so cool to visually look at, and difficulty-wise, I guess it's not super hard, but that doesn't make it any less fun for me. I think Wraith was an awesome character. It meshes well here with an interesting side mission storyline, and overall the mechanics are great. Amazing boss fight. Number 11, Cyborg Hammerhead, the final boss fight of the DLCs in the first game. I really liked Cyborg Hammerhead. First of all, I really like Silver Sable, so teaming up with her in this final showdown is really cool. Once again, this fight is really fun because the punching of the metallic armor is so satisfying. I think the fight itself is really interesting with the setting being on a ship and having to hold him down to get lasered. The progressive difficulty as the fight goes on, especially with extra mobs and such, really make it interesting. And even though your gadgets work on him, it takes a lot of the gadgets until he's subdued. There's a lot of variety here too, especially in the later phases where he can catch you off guard and hurt you. But I really like the team up aspect here with Silver Sable and how she bomb runs him basically and shoots him from her jet. It's pretty cool, and the DLC wraps up a cool arc with Silver Sable. I really enjoyed this boss fight. For a DLC, it worked out great. Makes me wish Spider-Man 2 got something similar. But now for the top 10, man. Let's start with the top 10. Starting at number 10, Shocker. Shocker's boss fight at the bank might surprise people, but I really love this boss fight. This is just a me thing, this thing I'm about to tell you. But when Spidey meets him inside the vault and the music is a bit eerie when Spidey's making quips at him, the combination of those things, I don't know, I just really like that.
Long time no see. Hey, I'm no lawyer, but
I'm pretty sure that's a parole violation.
It's such a weird thing with my brain, but the eerie little music here juxtaposed with it being one of Spidey's less intimidating villains is really cool. On top of that, I think the boss fight is fantastic. Dodging Shocker's shockwaves, swinging around and dropping things on him. I really like Shocker's design here as well. It stands out, but the movement here as well as finding the windows of opportunity to be able to throw an object at him before he hits you forces you to kind of pay attention. Also, the story here is interesting too, where he knows he'll die if he talks, which creates some mystery. But this was really visually awesome as a boss fight. It was climatic as well. They really went all out with Shocker, which is kind of awesome. Overall, a very fun boss fight that I look forward to playing every time I go through the main story. I love Shocker, so it sucks that he died in the sequel. Number 9, the Mr. Negative final fight. This fight was sick. Seeing why Mr. Negative is the way he is, you don't condone it, but you do understand it. And the fight itself is very awesome. This is definitely the best one in the entire series to me. I love how you fight him in the real world and then into the negative world, and then he seamlessly turns into a giant demon. Super sick visually. His attacks are fast paced and he can catch you off guard. He can hit you with his attacks he did in the subway train. He'll lunge at you with his sword. And he also has his demon monsters come at you, and overall kind of forces you to lock in. For a near finale boss fight, it does everything really well, but I think what really makes this fight top 10 for me is the ending, where Spider-Man just does a super sick finisher on him that makes me love this fight even more, dude. The boss fight itself is very fun, and the stakes here are great for me. I think Mr. Negative's revenge story was honestly really awesome, but it's that finisher here that just elevates to the number 9 for me. And for all those reasons, it's an amazing, amazing boss fight. Number 8, Kraven. Kraven is a beast. The beginning of this boss fight where Yuri is punching and breaking the glass because he's stuck is amazing voice acting. You really feel like Spider-Man's ready to tear off Kraven's head. The stakes here are high as hell. Kraven wants someone worthy of killing him, and he's riled up here enough to potentially be that guy. So you go into the fight with that, which is awesome. Honestly, Kraven was easily the best new introduced character in the game to me. I thought he was super sick. I loved him. The boss fight itself is really awesome too. Mechanically wise, the traps he uses like mines or his vanishing smoke bombs or just his raw strength to create for a very dynamic boss fight is really engaging. The next phase, having a bell that can screw you over, is also really awesome, with him also introducing new moves like his cloaking tech and projectiles. It meshes together really well. This boss fight delves into more darker territory with Spider-Man, which I always love, and the ending was really cool with Miles forced to stop Peter before he kills Kraven, and also with Kraven saying some pretty freaky stuff. Overall, an amazing boss fight. They made Kraven extremely powerful in the universe, and I wish we got to see more of him. Amazing boss fight, amazing character. Number 8. Number 7, Symbiote Spider-Man. First and foremost, one thing I remember about this fight, and I always will, is the music. Oh my god, the music here is phenomenal.
You think I'm the problem, but I'm not anymore. I'm the solution.
Music can sometimes completely shift things for me, elevating it to so much higher of a level. This is an example of that. Amazing music. But on top of that, the fight here with Miles versus Spider-Man was really fun. The concept of just fighting Spider-Man as Spider-Man is so cool. Before I get into the mechanics of the fight, the cutscenes here were pure cinema too. I mean, look at this amazing sequence. The choreography here was phenomenal. My butt was clenched. Mechanics-wise, you can use the bell against him, he'll use his symbiote abilities on you, he'll swing away to dodge. It's a really awesome Spider-Man fight, and the music, atmosphere, the fun boss fight, like I said, and really the performances from the actors sells this one as one of the most memorable boss fights in the series. Even if I may have my issues with the symbiote storyline in the game, this particular section was really cool, and I really loved it. And especially that music, man, my god. Number 6, Venom. Now, Venom's iteration in this game was my personal favorite, but Venom as a character will always be badass to me. I even like the Raimi version, sue me. This Venom's design and voice from the legendary Tony Todd, may he rest in peace, were super badass. And the boss fight itself is really fun. With Peter, swing from 3 different areas to fight him was cool, with the different environmental advantages like the sirens here as well to help you was awesome. The symbiote enemies he summons creates for a unique difficulty. The difficulty of Venom himself, sometimes it felt really hard to parry and dodge, especially on a first run through. Some of these attacks you'll just get hit by, and it takes trial and error to beat it. But it's really satisfying to fight Venom here, and it's really cool to use the anti-Venom suit to suck him dry, pause. But it's Venom's aura here, and the pure enjoyment I had from this fight that makes it number 6 for me. On top of the design and voice of Venom, he's just such a badass and cool villain that makes me love most of, if not all, versions of the character, even if I have my disagreements with the iteration. Fighting him with Peter and Miles was just really cool in general, and the ending where you finally beat him and save Harry was also super well done. Overall, it's a fantastic boss fight. I wish we got to fight him like how we saw in the one trailer though on the streets, but whatever. Top 5 now though, moving on to top 5. Starting at number 5, Doc Ock. Doc Ock was easily the best finale in the entire series, dude. First of all, the beginning where Peter saved Norman and he goes up to fight Doc Ock was really sick. The way the music swells up. And on top of that, doesn't the shot here look straight out of a comic book or something? I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I love it a lot. But besides those things, the mechanics of the fight are really cool. I think Doc Ock is naturally a really fun boss fight because of his mechanical arms being able to do all sorts of different things. I love that he lunges at you and swings at you with his arms, how he throws crap at you atop the tower, and above all else, this is one of the best mentor-turned-villain stories I've personally seen. I really like how Doc Ock was built up in this game. He was fantastic. Doc Ock was a person I believe really went off the deep end compared to the Tinker or Venom, and the ending where Peter had to leave him even though it hurts like hell hits me personally, as I've had a similar experience before. Don't mean to get serious, there were personal connections, but that stuff makes the boss fight elevate for me. This fight was not only fun mechanically, but amazing story-wise, amazing visually, the music was amazing, emotions and performances were top-notch, a phenomenal finale, super dope boss fight. They did Doc Ock super well. Number 4, Lizard. Okay, this might surprise people, but I absolutely love the Lizard fight way more than I thought. First of all, design-wise, Lizard here is sick. I love how big and unique he is. I think I love animal-based villains that are actually animals, like Killer Croc, for example. Same thing with Lizard here. Mechanics-wise, I love this fight. Using air ducts to trip Lizard up or just webbing him and punching him, and the animations of your symbiote moves against him is really awesome. But what I really love about this fight is just how Peter embraces his symbiote self against him, how he talks down on him and his family. It gets pretty intense, but this fight kind of reminds me of Shocker in that it's just pure fun through and through, and I love everything about this iteration of Lizard. I mean, look at how huge he is and how menacing he is. It's like Peter probably would have died without the suit, right? It felt like that. I love how monstrous they made him and how difficult he could be. Some of his attacks hit fast and hard, and don't be surprised if you die to this guy. The set pieces here are amazing too, where you're chasing him to the road or going up the building. This fight had a lot of effort put into it. I can literally gush about this fight all the time. It's just a great fight through and through. Not one dull moment. Absolutely loved it, man. Lizard was so sick. Top 3 now. Number 3, Rhino and Scorpion's boss fight. Okay, this boss fight and the upcoming one are so much fun to me. What I love about this fight is that, yes, there are 2 people that you have to fight at the same time, and it is simple as that. That alone makes it really unique for me. I don't think story-wise there's nothing much unique about it. You just fight a couple members of the Sinister Six and it's great. But I really love the idea of fighting 2 villains at once, and this one is really memorable for that reason. Having to dodge Rhino's charges at you while Scorpion is shooting a slime at you presents a unique challenge. One that's not necessarily difficult, but it's really cool and dynamic. Like, I'm punching Rhino, but I see Scorpion in the background I have to dodge. I really love the boss fight for that reason. It makes me feel like the Insomniac Spider-Man is amazing. It makes me feel like this is a slice-of-life adventure of Insomniac Spider-Man. I like constant action, and this fight has double that. Nothing too notable story-wise or music-wise, but for some reason, this is a top 3 fight for me. I absolutely loved it. It's freaking amazing. Number 2, Electro and Vulture. Nah, this fight was just straight up phenomenal, bro. I don't know. People might disagree with these picks, but this one, I loved the aerial combat and visual aesthetic. It was so cool. Vulture and Electro are flying around attacking you. You have to stay in the air to keep up with them. Remember Spider-Man Web of Shadows where you have to fight Vulture there in the air? This is like that, but better. First of all, the start of the fight, I like the music swelling up here like a superhero fight is about to go down, which it is. Visually, when you're dodging Vulture's lunges and web to him are so sweet to look at. Electro's lightning at night is a joy to look at too, and overall the mechanics of the fight are really well done. Swinging from one place to the next, keeping yourself elevated and dodging their attacks. It's not necessarily a hard fight, but a dynamic and extremely fun one nonetheless. I love this boss fight, dude. It's so sick, and fighting 2 people at once again, is really cool, and I wish we got more boss fights like that. Fighting multiple people at once, it's really unique, you know? You don't get those in typical boss fights, like, ever in superhero games, so because of that, it really sets high up for me. I thought that was really well done. Number 2. And with number 1, finally at number 1, my favorite boss fight is Venom versus Kraven. Holy shit. Where do I even begin with this boss fight? First of all, one of the reasons this is my favorite boss fight is that you get to play as Venom. And Venom, for the limited time and gameplay he has, is so fun, and it makes it so memorable and so amazing. Honestly, it's probably one of the most memorable moments in gaming for me. The build up here was great. Kraven finally finds someone worthy of challenging him. The fight itself is really good. Venom punches are so satisfying and sound so good. It's satisfying to hit Kraven. It's satisfying to deflect his grenades. It's satisfying to counter his attacks. It's also well done. And one of the best parts is the ending. After beating him, the ending where the music swells up and Venom eats Kraven is so crazy and still surprising to this day to see in this game. It's really gruesome, but really well done. Say what you want about Venom, but this entrance here and boss fight were so good and so fun. I absolutely loved everything about it. And it gave not only Kraven a good send-off, but an experience that is so rare for me to get in a video game. I really didn't think we get to play as Venom, like developers usually don't take that extra mile. Not only did Insomniac do that though, they made a freaking amazing boss fight for Venom, right? It's so good. Venom was fun to play as. The boss fight mechanics were challenging yet fun, and it was really satisfying when you land hits. The ending was superb, and the feeling of awe after the mission ends is like none other. The other boss fights to me are great, but they don't hold a candle here because of the insane experience that came with the pleasure of playing Venom. Freaking amazing boss fight all around. My number 1, my favorite, absolutely phenomenal through and through, marks it as the factually best boss fight in the series. But those are my rankings of the boss fights in the series. What do you think? Some might surprise people, not sure, but I love certain elements when it comes to boss fights that some other people might not, outside of the actual boss fight, which alters my decisions, but you let me know. But as always, if you enjoyed, please leave a like, comment, subscribe to my second channel, please, I really appreciate that. But other than that, I'll see you in the next video. Stay safe and peace.